So what's going on, guys? It's your boy Simon Riley or Ghost back with another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about a topic that I've never talked about before, and I know that me saying that is kind of weird because I've got less than 10 videos on my channel, but bear with me please. So today's topic is going to be marriage, and just to make things clear, I am 18 years of age and I'm not married. Yes, I'm not coming of a background of proficiency or like expertise. I'm not a maven. I'm not a pundit. I'm not a pro, but uh, I am going to talk about marriage from my own perspective, and like I kind of have some knowledge about the topic. My cognizance was gleaned from left and right, from stories that I've read, or like from books that I've read, on the internet, or like from me talking about people who are married, and like learning from them. So yeah, all of that is going to be amalgamated, and everything that I've learned in the past 3 years is going to be condensed into this synopsis that I'm going to give you in this video. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So to start off, I think that would be quite apropos and quite apt to give a definition as the basic essence of this monologue. So the definition of marriage, and obviously I'm going to give you a definition that I think is true, and I'm not going to give you a definition of Google or of the internet. So my definition is marriage is a contract that is made to bind two lives, one of a male and one of a female, and that contract should last forever or until marriage, until death. Sorry. So yeah, that's basically my basic, fundamental, and rudimentary definition of marriage. And something else that I wanted to talk about is my attitude towards marriage. So I'm a Muslim, and I believe that marriage is something that is recommended. Like I can't really have an opinion on such issues because those issues are issues where like we've got evidence on. So yeah, like I can't give you my opinion on it. Just say what Islam says. So yeah, that's what I think of marriage. And um, the final thing that I want to talk about, and the thing that is going to take the most amount of time to talk about in this video, is whether you should get married early or late. Now, despite this issue being kind of like moot, contentious, and debatable, I think that if we like set very strict and rigid rules for like the prerequisites and the requirements that have to be met before somebody is eligible for marriage, I think if that is like set in stone, and like if you know that that is there and it's not going to change, then yeah, that I think that answering the question, should I get married now or should I wait, is going to be a lot easier. So I think that firstly, for somebody to get married, I think that they have to have a sufficient amount of money. They have to have a sustainable source of income. Because like even if you have the sufficient amount of money to get married, if you don't have a reliable source of income, then how are you gonna sustain not only your life but like your life and your wife's, and in the future your children's lives? So yeah, I think that having enough money is going to be the first prerequisite that has to be met. And I'm not saying that you have to be minted. I'm not saying that you have to have all the money in the world and be the richest man on the face of the planet, or like have a yacht and apartments in most of the countries of of the continent that you live in. No, I'm saying that what I'm saying is that you have to have like the sufficient amount of money that is acceptable and that is enough for you to um, live a palatable life in the society that you live in. And this obviously may vary depending on where you live. But yeah, so that's the first prerequisite. And the second prerequisite is you being ready mentally. So if you're not mentally matured, I don't think they should like risk it. Even if you have enough money, I think that you're gonna regret it later down the line because, like, let's say somebody gets married when they're 18, and I mean, obviously, I'm giving you an example of somebody who is getting married when they're not mentally ready because we've got many people who are very mature at the age of 18. I'm not talking about myself, obviously, yeah. So if somebody wants to get married at the age of 18 and they're not mentally mature and like they are not ready to get married. So if that happens, then sometimes it might work out, but for the most part, I think that it's gonna end up in a divorce, because or like a very turbulent and tumultuous marital life, because the person who is getting married in this case is not really ready for the marriage, and they're not like really ready to like take on the burden of marriage. So yeah, if you're not ready mentally, then yeah, don't do it. And I think the third and final reason that, or like prerequisite that has to be met, is you being of a certain age. And yes, this is probably the most moot and the most disputable prerequisite, but I think that with the prerequisites that I've mentioned before, this one is not that hard to like determine. So being of the right age, what does that mean? So like, I think that if you're at an age where you think that like I'm capable of doing this, and I think that I can actually get married and like sustain for a family and like provide for them. So I think that if you are at an age where you can do that, and you like, it doesn't even have to be the age where most of the people that in your society get married at. No, just has to be an age where you think that, okay, I've gone through a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I think that now is the apposite time for me to get married. So yeah, if that is where you're at, then yeah, sure, go for it, and just load up the cannon and catapult yourself into marriage. That was a really weird sentence, not gonna lie. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. But now, is getting married late okay? Well, in my opinion, I think that most people who get married late don't actually get married late because they want to get married late. It's just because they try to like to postpone marriage until a very late age, and that's when like they decide to choose marriage. So before that, they'd be partying, they'd be sleeping around, and like living a romantic life outside of marriage, which is something that is obviously going to deter you from marriage, because marriage is basically having all the fun whilst also having all of the burden. So people don't want that. People just want the fun part. So I think it's quite amateur to do so, because like, instead of taking on the burden, doing that is what you should do. And I think that once you get to a certain point in your life, I think that you're eventually going to realize that, but that's when people like kind of like get to a point where they have to choose between one of the two lanes. Am I going to go for it, or am I going to wait until I die? Yeah, because I think that getting married at 30 is pretty late. Yeah, especially that many people don't want to wait until the age of 20 before they can get into romantic relationships. So like, by the time they get married, they've probably had romantic relationships with multiple other people, and they think that now is the time for them to settle down and get married. So yeah, I think that is wrong. I think that if you think they can't live, um, and can't go beyond the age of 20 without getting into a romantic relationship, then I think they should get married at an age shortly after that. I'm not saying that you should get married when you're not ready, but like, just try to facilitate it, you know? So yeah, that was my honest opinion on the topic. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you liked it, click that like button, and if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I'm not gonna stop you, just like I said in the last video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you later. Bye bye.